When we look at racism and white supremacy, we're not just talking about hatred or ignorance. We're talking about a deep psychological sickness that has been normalized, institutionalized, and passed down like a generational curse. Because think about it. What kind of mind sees another human being, a whole creation of God, and believes they are superior because of the amount of melanin in their skin? What kind of psyche dedicates centuries to building systems, laws, religions, and economies to justify hurting, stealing from, and traumatizing an entire group of people? It's not normal thinking. That is pathology. Racism ain't rooted in strength. It's rooted in fear. Fear of equality, fear of accountability, fear of losing power, fear that if we thrive, they lose control. That fear creates delusion, and delusion creates violence. That is textbook mental instability, y'all. White supremacy required a mass delusion so strong that it convinced a whole society that kidnapping, raping, selling, and lynching human beings was not only acceptable, but moral. Now that requires cognitive distortion. That requires disassociation from reality. That requires a lack of empathy. All of that is symptomatic of a collective psychological illness. And here's the real truth. The harm that they inflicted on Black people for generations was a mirror of the harm already living inside of them. Because mentally, whole people don't create oppression. Confident people don't need control. Emotionally healthy people don't need domination. Only a sick mind needs to convince itself that others must suffer for it to feel superior. But let me flip this. The miracle is, even though this sickness tried to break us, we never broke. We built families and churches, businesses, culture, music, art, and innovation that shaped the entire world. That is the sign of a healed mind, a resilient mind, a divine mind. The real mental illness is racism. The real strength is the Black mind that survived. And that's why we tell our stories. That's why we honor our ancestors. And that's why we remember our history, because understanding the sickness helps us stop internalizing it and start uprooting it at its root. Because we are the descendants of greatness. We know that. And the world tries to study our trauma, but they never acknowledge our triumph. And every day that we wake up, we're breaking generational curses, y'all. Generational curses that we didn't even create. And we are the evidence that even in the face of all this madness, we're still excellent. Now drop a Black fist in the comments and share this with someone who needs to hear this Black History gem.